Hello everyone, welcome to Quick English Lessons. I'm sure you already know how to say please, thank you, and excuse me. But today, I'll teach you 12 more ways to make your English sound more polite. So, let's get started. When you're announcing the choice between two or more things, it's highly impolite to start your sentence with I want. Whereas, start your sentence with I would like. I want sounds like a demand, as if you're commanding the other person to fulfill your desires. Whereas, I would like is more polite phrase. For an example, I want a hamburger. It sounds like a command. Rather, the other one, which is I would like to have a hamburger. It sounds more polite to the other person. When you are asking for permission to the other person, it's slightly impolite to start your question with can I? Rather, it's more polite to ask or to start your question with do you mind if? For an example, can I try your shoes? Slightly impolite. A better way is, do you mind if I try your shoes? Well, we often receive invitations and there are times when we can't make it to the party or to the event. It can often be difficult to decline an invitation from a friend and simply saying no would be considered impolite. Well, I'm here to help. The next time you have to refuse an invitation, avoid offense by saying, I'm afraid I can't. For an example, if you say, I can't come to your home today, it may sound direct and may put you in a bad light. Rather, say, I'm afraid I won't be able to come to your home today. Please accept my apologies. You can add the more polite phrases at the end too. There are times when we are stuck in a situation where we need other people's help to get out of it. It can be a smaller one or the bigger one. And rather than directly asking for help, it's much comfortable for the other person to have options too. So rather than saying, I need this help from you, you give a choice to the other person by using the phrase, I was wondering if. For an example, I need 500 rupees from you. Now, this is polite, but it does not give any choice to the other person. Rather, if you say, I was wondering if you could lend me rupees 500. Now, this gives a person a choice to think and to make the decision. I'm very much sure that we've been stuck into a situation when we don't like something that the other person is doing at public place. For an example, it may be smoking cigarette, it may be making noise at the public place, etc. Now, to get the desired result rather than shouting that stop this, you must use the phrase that is, would you mind not doing this or not doing it? For an example, if somebody is smoking beside you and you don't appreciate it, rather than saying stop smoking, you must insist and say, would you mind not smoking here? That sounds more polite and there are higher chances that the person would give you the space. The situation of disagreement occurs too often, whether we are at workplace or with friends. So when you disagree with an idea, it's impolite to directly say that it's a bad idea. Instead of using strong and direct words like bad, it's more polite to say, I'm not sure that it's a good idea. For an example, going to movies is a bad idea. Now, this sounds quite direct and impolite and rude. Rather, we can say, I'm not sure if going to movies is a good idea. It sounds much more pacifying. I'm sure on a daily basis we stumble upon a situation where we need something that's kept far or at a distance, maybe in the same room. And here we use the phrase give me, which ends up putting us in the bad light because people don't like being told what to do. So it's sometimes difficult to get what you want without causing frustration. So it's high time, everyone, that we replace the phrase give me with can you pass me? For an example, give me that pen. Now this sounds commanding. Rather say, can you pass me that pen please? As we are halfway through the learning, here is a quick recap for you before we move ahead. When asking for information, don't directly use the phrase do you know. Rather, give the other person a chance, an option by using the phrase by any chance. For an example, do you know about the latest recruitments? Rather, say by any chance, do you have any idea about the latest recruitments? Using this phrase puts the person away from a pressure-like situation. Next in line, we have a situation when we are giving responsibilities to our co-workers, colleagues, or even at home to our younger ones. To maintain a good and healthy relationship with our co-workers, it's best not to start a sentence directly with the verb. For an example, reply to my email, go to the bank, finish the project. These all sentences sound like a command. Rather, we must make requests. For an example, don't say send me the reports. Rather, say could you please send me the report? Don't say finish the project. Rather, say I'm looking forward to seeing the project finished. It is an easy peasy one when you miss out something that the other person has spoken. Don't ask what. Rather, there are multiple ways to ask the person to repeat, like, pardon me, excuse me, could you repeat that? Oh, I missed out the last one, would you mind repeating it? Etc. And here is the example of the same. What did he say? This is an impolite way to ask the person to repeat. Rather, you can ask, pardon me. Now, when you are taking follow-up from your co-workers, it's quite direct to use the phrase tell me. Tell me about the dates of the event. Tell me about the files. Tell me about this. It's very direct and commanding, as if you're showing your superiority to the other colleagues. Rather, say let me know. It sounds much more polite to the other person. It also makes the other person feel more valuable. For an example, tell me when you're available. Now it sounds more commanding. Rather, let me know when you're available. Now, when you're reviewing a work, you must avoid statements like I don't like this, I don't like that. Instead, you can use a more indirect form like I'm not too fond of this or I'm not a fan of this. Another option is to state what you want to see. Instead, I would prefer to see that. I would rather look into it. For an example, it's impolite to say I don't like the font used in your work. Rather, you can say I'm not too fond of the font used in your work. I'm not a fan of this font that you have used in your work. I would rather prefer Calibri font, right? So these are certain ways how you can share your feedback, your review indirectly and in a polite way. One of the most uncomfortable situations that we've ever been in is when somebody has pointed out our mistakes in a manner that has brought all the attention and focus of the room on us by saying, "You are wrong." I'm sure it must have happened with you, and I'm sure you can feel the uncomfort and the embarrassment that this phrase or this sentence brings to us, right? So let's stop avoiding using this sentence. Rather, we can simply, in a very polite and decent manner, we can say, "I think you might be mistaken." For an example, let's say a colleague or a friend of yours said that the government has recently invested 1200 crores in the recent projects, in the upcoming projects. So now you know that this information is not right. The data is different. So rather than saying "you are wrong," what you can say is, "I think you might be mistaken. The number is quite large. It's actually 45 crores. I read it in the newspaper yesterday, and that's something that makes me say this." Here is a quick recap for you of the second half of the video. And with this, we've come to the end of the whole video. I hope the video was helpful. If yes, then do let me know in the comment section below. I love to read your comments. Stay tuned and keep watching Quick English Lessons by Sakshi Tiwari. Happy learning to you!